I'd like to call this evening's City Council meeting to order. If we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have the roll call.
Councilmember Boff.
Here.
Councilmember Stimmel.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Present.
Councilmember Strobehn.
Here.
Councilmember Cerveny.
Here.
Mayor Thornton, I'm here too.
Are you sure?
Thank you. Next is the consent agenda. If there are no requests for any items to be removed, could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second. Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. So next on the agenda are presentations. We have a special guest or guests here this evening. Mr. Sean Donahue with CTRAN, Chief Executive Officer for CTRAN, is here this evening to do a presentation for us, and hopefully all had an opportunity to look at the beautiful bus that's parked out adjacent to the building this evening. Pretty spectacular. So it's very impressive. We appreciate it very much, Sean. So with that, we'll let you have your time for presentation, and if there's any questions, I'm sure you'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. We obviously are extremely pleased to bring the bus out for our city series today to City Hall. We're very proud of our community, and I think that's sort of why the city series bus means a lot to us, for all the communities that are in the public transportation benefit area. We truly do believe that the success of our organization is really due to the success of the county at large and the cities that we're able to serve, and so we're very grateful to be here and to be able to serve the city and the county. The one thing that I really love about this bus that's a little different from some of the other city series buses that we've done is there's a deep history in this city, and so we really wanted to represent the history and the future and the current state of the city, and so you can see that on that bus where it kind of wraps around the side, and that's something a little different that we had not done on some of the other city series buses. So really just wanted to take an opportunity to bring the bus out. Normally when we do proclamations, we bring out plaques. We brought a bus out, and our organization. So I'd love to tell you that you can keep it. We can't. We did send a tweet out to the police department asking that we not get ticketed for the 5 spots we're taking up there. But in all seriousness, CTRAN, been at the helm of CTRAN now for about 2.5 years. I'm very proud to be able to serve this community, and very proud of all of our employees who do really excellent community service work and public service work for the county and all the cities that we're able to serve. We were very fortunate to be selected as the 2019 Public Transportation System of the Year in North America, which is a huge honor for us. But the reality is, and when we went out, we talked to the folks in Washington, D.C. and all the other cities that participate in what we call the American Public Transportation Association. The one thing that we really talked about was how great our community was, and that's really the benchmark for why our organization is extremely successsul, because quite frankly, we have just the best residents and the best community, and that's really a focal point for us. And it's really really the main reason we got that award. So just wanted to say thanks to everybody. We hope you enjoy the bus. If there's any questions I can answer for you real quick about CTRAN or about anything that we got going on, I'd love to do that. We don't want to take up too much of your time tonight. We just want to drop off a big surprise and then get out of here. Good Christmas.
Did you carpool?
Usually I try to ride the bus up, but they took off out of the lot before I got a chance to get home. And it was actually kind of fun to drive up, because one thing that I really make an attempt to do is I see the first design before they put the wrap on it, but I try not to go out and look at the bus that's in our paint booth before it gets to the city. So every time we've done one of these launches, I really see it when everybody else sees it for the first time, and it just, every time I see a new one, it blows me away, and this is my new favorite. I say that every time we put a new one out, I'm like, this is my new favorite. But it really is a nice bus.
Well, we appreciate it. It looks very nice.
Yeah, thank you very much. And if there's anything that we can do, please feel free to let us know. Otherwise, we'll get out of your hair and let you get back to city business. And
Sean knows. I will definitely let him know if there's anything they can do, because I've been bugging him for a year on when this would happen. He said, "Doug, just be patient. We will get to the center." And I knew he and his team would come through, which they did. Thank you.
Will this bus be put in general circulation service? So will we see this in downtown Portland?
Yes, there's a possibility that would happen. In fact, really the idea behind the City Series buses was to sell all of our communities to other communities. So it's quite possible that this bus could be in Battleground, Vancouver, Portland, Camas, Washougal. And that's really the point of it, is to showcase to our other communities just how amazing the other communities are. And if you have some time to go up and enjoy that. So it's quite possible that this bus could be on a commuter route in Portland. In fact, if it is, our operators love these buses, and they kind of fight over who really gets an opportunity to drive them. And they take pictures of the bus. Like when we take buses to Portland, they'll take a picture of that bus at the transportation mall in Portland, and they'll send it back to us, and we'll put it on social media. They really get a pretty good kick out of it. So it's quite possible that this bus may be in downtown Portland, and we'll try to snag a photo of it.
You'll have to put a wrap like this on your first light rail train.
Well, again, thank you very much. And if there's anything we can do, please let us know. And just thank you so much for the opportunity to bring this bus up. It really means a lot to us, and it means a lot to our employees to be able to serve this community. So thank you very much for that.
And thank you, Sean. Great. Thanks for everybody coming out this evening. Merry Christmas to you all.
We're not going for a ride on that?
Not right now. So next on the agenda, we have citizens' public comment. If anyone would like to address the council, please step up to the podium. If you'd give us your name and address, and limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Dennis Hill, 1316 West Alder Place, La Center. Just a shout out again to all those involved in the Christmas tree lighting program on Sunday. Great weather. Thank you, Mayor. Take care of that. He takes credit when he can on this kind of stuff. But the whole thing was just well done. I think the rearrangement was well done. I think the placement is allowed for more people to get around, more seating and such. And the nativity scene put out there, and the camel and so on was just a great addition to the tree lighting ceremony. And again, just a shout out to the city staff as well for all the work that went into making it all happen. There's a lot of work going behind the scenes, I know, to put something like this on. But again, thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it very much.
Sean Wright, 305 West 3rd Street. I would also like to give a big thanks to everyone involved in the Christmas event. It was lovely. My daughter was very happy, met Santa. She ran up to him and yelled for Peppa Pig toys, and I already bought Peppa Pig toys, so I'm very happy. Anyway, it was lovely. I really appreciate it. I'm still new to the community, and it was the first event I have attended in the community, and it makes me feel even more part of the community. And my family are very happy here that we moved here, and yeah, we appreciate it a lot. Also, a big thanks to anyone who was involved. I know Doug attends meetings with public transit officials, and anyone who may have been involved with that. That will be a big help to my family in particular, and many other people within my age group who tend to only own one vehicle or no vehicles. So that could be a big help to enable that age group to live and succeed in the center and in areas connected to it. Also, I would like to voice my support for budget allocation towards the master plan for Timmins Landing in the downtown. Downtowns are typically what define a community. and I think it will be very important to update that since the last update was quite a while ago, as well as provide a master plan for Timmins Landing as soon as possible, given the fact that development is possible in the near future, and it would be good to have everything in place before development comes, so that we don't see something that we may be seeing in the junction at this time. Hopefully that can be avoided as much as possible.
Very
That's
good.
all.
Thank you.
Skip Ross from the center. I just want to reiterate what Dennis and Sean said about the Sunday night event. It was very pleasant, very, very pleasant.
Great. Thank you. Okay, seeing that no one else is stepping up to the podium, I'll close public comment. Next, we have council and staff reports. I do have a few things this evening I want to share with the council. First two things are basically checking our calendars. I would just like to confirm with the council that January 25th, Saturday, January 25th, will work for everyone for our city council retreat. It would be from about 9 o'clock in the morning to 3 in the afternoon, and it'll be at Public Works conference room.
Yeah, I'm wide open. That works.
Okay. That's good. Very good. And then just a reminder that our next city council meeting will be next Wednesday, the Wednesday, December 18th, beginning at 6:30, because the following week is Christmas, and I don't think anybody wants to be here on Christmas. And lastly, I also would just like to make a few comments about Sunday night's Christmas tree lighting and the Christmas Tree Festival. I also would like to thank the city staff. Public Works Department did a phenomenal job decorating the city. It was a spectacular event. It's really hard to estimate how many people might have been there on Sunday night, but my impression was, appeared to me like it was the largest crowd that we've had downtown the center for a Christmas tree lighting. It was very busy. It was, well attended, and everything went quite well. The school choir did phenomenal. The orchestra that was here from the school also did very well. Clark County Fire Rescue has a major role in the Christmas festival. Friday night they have fire truck takes Santa Claus around to the different homes in the center, and they made 47 stops on Friday night. Also had a chance to visit the Christmas Bazaar at the school on Saturday, and my goodness, there was no place to park, and it was just extremely crowded. So overall, I think we had a really successful weekend, a great Christmas festival, and the whole community came out, and it was just great to see. So appreciate the police being out Sunday night, Chief. They did a great job with traffic control. I didn't hear of any kind of incidents or problems, so that's always...
They enjoyed themselves.
Yeah, so again, it was full court press by the entire city and the community. Melinda Masna, who was the chairperson for that event, again, did a phenomenal job this year, and she just puts in so much time and effort, and just can't say enough. So I'm going to keep everything fresh because it'll be back around before we know it, and we'll be doing it again. So, just want to thank everyone. So that's all I had for this evening. The next is the attorney's report. Mr. Cairns.
Thank you. Sadly, I don't have any litigation report tonight, but I do have good news. Christmas has come early for the council. The Citizens Salary Commission met last month and has increased your compensation effective January 1. $200 a month for councilors plus $50 for each council meeting for a maximum of $4,400, and mayor goes to $625 per month and $50 per meeting, maximum of $9,500.
Right.
So the way that process works is they are authorized by state law and created by the council to undertake these kind of compensation issues. Their ordinances become effective without coming to council.
Dan, how does that affect with the budgets? How is that determined with city budgets?
I don't know if it's covered.
It's included.
It's included? Yeah. If you take it, that is, it would have an impact.
Very good. So yeah, thank you for that, Dan. We actually do have two of the salary commissioners here this evening. Mr. Dennis Hill, who was chairperson for the salary commission, and Jack Davis was also on that 5-member commission. Appreciate your efforts. This year basically had to completely re-staff the entire commission with 5 people, and we pulled it together, and with their leadership and the help of the other 3 commissioners, they got it done, and I really appreciate it. It's important to keep those fresh as far as what the stipends are, and to visit that at least every couple of years. So it's been a while since anybody's looked at it, and again, I really appreciate your efforts. So thank you very much. Did you have anything else tonight, Dan?
That's it, unless people have questions.
Okay. So next are council comments. We'll start with Councilmember Boff.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I don't know if there's enough words to thank everyone for the hard work that went into the Christmas festival, and I'm afraid to list off names. I don't want to miss anyone. So the thanks have already come out tonight, or express my feelings exactly. So I'll just issue one big thank you and look forward to next year's as well. It's wonderful to live in a community like this where we see so many citizens get involved, and it was done very, very well, and I appreciate that very much. My CTRAN report for this month, or for tonight anyway, has 4 wheels and it's sitting out front right now. So I'm not going to elaborate on CTRAN in this meeting. At our next council meeting, I will brief you on the topics that were discussed last night. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Stimmel.
Also wanted to say thanks for the Christmas tree lighting. I didn't get to stay long. I had to chase a kid through that giant crowd of people with a pretty bad tummy ache. Not very fun, but we got to see the lights come on, so we were there for a little bit. One other thing, I don't know if folks got to see the story on the news a couple nights ago about a classroom of kids that showed up on the doorstep of a teacher fighting breast cancer. Anybody get to see that? The organization that puts that together is an organization called Kindness 911, and I got their page up. I can read this if I forget, but essentially their function is to link law enforcement agencies with people through acts of kindness, acts of genuine positive impact on their community. There's been a handful of stories that have made it to the news showing that organization doing things like showing up at schools. They do a lot of work with sick children, and they'll go out into the community and get donations for Blazer games, baseball games. A&A's jumped on, and they've helped out a lot. I'd really like to bring that organization to La Center. What they do is they partner with the police agency. I think we're a little on the small side for bringing their main chunk of business to us, but we might be able to partner with Battleground or partner with Ridgefield. And essentially what they do is arm police officers with kindness citations, where they will look for acts like I mentioned before, where they would present somebody with a citation. And I think with that kindness citation comes the opportunity for the recipient to give a donation to a charity that's set up by your police agency. So I think we're in early talks, but if you see that or hear about it, I'd love it if our community would support it. Kind of going off of what Sean said, our communities here are amazing, and getting to see these stories on the news is really, really cool, and it puts a positive light on our awesome policemen and the work that they do. So I hope that can come to La Center. If I have a say in it, it will. That's all I have tonight. Thanks, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you. Councilmember Williams.
Thanks, Mayor. First, I'd like to apologize to council. I just was plugging in that retreat date, and it was an old message, and when I plugged it in, it sent it to everybody. So I deleted it, but anyway, it's not official. So, because it shows it came from the former deputy clerk. So, anyway, yeah, town looked great. I want to thank everybody that had something to do with it. Also want to thank citizens for decorating. Our town is lit up. It looks great. I wish I had more lights at my house, but I had a ground fault, knocked half of them out, and I haven't fixed it yet, so we'll find that one. Probably it's a wet connection someplace. Yeah, the town looked great the other night. I came through. Unfortunately, I couldn't come down. I was a little tired. I've so far I've had close to 1,000 kids on my lap the last 2 weekends.
Oh, man.
And I got 2 more weekends of it coming. So, but town looks good. School's going to be out pretty soon, so everybody needs to be careful too. The streets are slick. Kids will be out, especially right after Christmas. They'll have their new bikes and want to slide around. So, anyway, that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Councilmember Strobehn?
You know, everybody's pretty much covered or all the comments tonight, so yeah, I have nothing more than what's already been said.
Great. Councilmember Cerveny?
Being last has benefits, I guess. Nothing in addition to such.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Next on the agenda are staff reports. We do have one staff report this evening, Public Works Department, and Mr. Matt Jenkins will be presenting.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, citizens. I'm Jenkins, Public Works Director. This is the In the Works report for December. Pretty brief. I'll just breeze through it. But on the Public Works operations side, on streets and facilities, Public Works has been working on leaf removal and keeping city properties maintained, keeping drainage systems clear throughout the city's sidewalks and trails maintained. They continue to monitor and repair potholes throughout the city, along with any other road hazards. And it will be street sweeping on and off over the next few weeks. So citizens, please be careful for the streets if you see it. On parks and grounds, Public Works has been working to winterize the parks and grounds infrastructure throughout the city. They'll be blowing that out and getting ready for the very cold weather that we're going to have coming up. And then on the equipment side, all the equipment has been prepped for cold weather, including all of our plowing equipment, brine equipment, things to keep the roads safe if we get a freeze event or a snowfall event. And on the project side, this has taken up the majority of the last few weeks, and they've worked really hard at it. And I appreciate everybody's comments. I know they do too. But Public Works has been decorating the town for the coming holidays. They put in a tremendous amount of preparation for the Christmas event. I believe it showed. I don't want to name anyone individually because I'll leave somebody out as well. So I'd just like to thank all the citizens that volunteered and Public Works Ops group, the wastewater group, and the PD as well. So, and any other employee that contributed. On the wastewater operations side, the plant parameters remain well within compliance with the MPDES permit. Plant process is in the process of changing from warm to cold weather operation. So it's going through that change. It's routine. It happens every year, but it just means we'll change some of the parameters to optimize the plant. On the maintenance side, routine preventative maintenance is always ongoing. The refurbished blower has been delivered. Staff will be installing it over the next 2 weeks. Staff has been repairing light fixtures throughout the facility. Now that it gets dark earlier, it's a lot easier to see the outdoor lights that might have a problem or have a hiccup. So going through all the fixtures and analysis and make sure that those are taken care of. On the personnel side, staff's still working on acquiring continuing education units for the year. We're about to wrap that up. On the administrative side, the November discharge monitor report is being completed this week and submitted to Ecology. The 2019 annual effluent characterization report has been completed and submitted to Ecology. And the fourth quarter biosolid sampling has been performed, and we're awaiting results from ALS, the third-party lab on that. On the project side, the lift station 3 has had new pumps and saddles installed. This project was part of the Holly Park subdivision sewer improvements. So overall in the last year, that lift station has had new electronics installed, along with new pumps, new saddles, and new down poles. So it's except for the concrete work, it's a relatively new station and highly reliable. And then staff is working with TAG, which is the automation group, who is our integrator, to update the system radios and SCADA programming. And when these future lift stations come on, we'll have to update the radio system. We'll be updating that across the entire system. So try to make it a seamless transition. So, any questions?
No, but I want to give you a compliment, Matt. Not just only on the Christmas decorations, but what some of the things, you know, when you guys are talking about what makes the city special. You know, I do a lot of traveling, and I see a lot of different small communities across the U.S. And when I wake up here in the morning and I see the grounds have been sprayed and the ice is not there, it puts a smile on my face, because you just don't see that anywhere. So you guys really work your butts off, and it shows. Just want to say thanks.
Very good.
Thanks, man.
Okay, thank you very much. So, right now, I just would like to take a moment. I did get a question from one of the council members, and it's actually come up from citizens as well, regarding the city's agenda and the way this agenda, we've made a couple changes on the scheduling of the agenda. So I'm going to ask Dustin Bailey, our finance manager, to step up, and if you could just address that for the council so we can get that cleared up right now.
Sure,
Just some
Mayor.
public comment.
Yeah, thank you. I can go through, essentially, a lot of the question was about the location of the public comment period in the agenda. And the reason we have the public comment period is because it's defined in the Open Public Meetings Act, and it's a First Amendment kind of representation. And it is, the intent of it is to allow citizens to make comments on anything that is not on the agenda. So we, with careful consideration and taking a look at other cities and how their agendas were set up, we restructured it to put the public comment period after the presentation proclamations. That was to respect the time of people who were coming in to do presentations, such as the CTRAN presentation tonight, so they could come and do their presentation and move on their way if they needed to. But then also improve the flow of the meeting. So then we have presentation proclamations, public comment, and then city business. One note I would make is that any agenda item that is for legislative action does require a public hearing. So any of those items would have an additional public comment period attached to it. Would you have 2 of those tonight? And I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. So are there any other questions on that from any of the council members? Okay, very good. So this evening, during public comment, one of the people here this evening did talk about one of the items that are on the we have an ordinance tonight for and the budget for the planned action area. So I would ask you again to please share your comments with the council when we get to that. But yeah, typically during public comment, we wouldn't comment on anything that's on the agenda. I didn't really want to stop you on that point, but if you could please reiterate your thoughts when we get to that part. So if there's no other questions on that, we'll go and continue to move on. Okay, so this evening we do have 2 ordinances and 2 public hearings this evening. The first one is ordinance number 2019-27, an ordinance adopting the budget for the City of La Center for fiscal year ending December 31st, 2020, and a policy with regard to fund transfers. So Mr. Dustin Bailey will be presenting to the council.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. We had a presentation at the last meeting of the preliminary budget. You probably noticed that the staff report is pretty similar. So I won't go through it again for you, but I do want to note that the presentation of this budget is the culmination of a lot of work that I think city staff and those involved were putting it together. Very proud of the Budget Advisory Committee, the management team, the mayor, and then also feedback from the council members as we went along. This budget, I will note that it presents a balanced operational budget, and what that means is the revenue sources in the budget support the operation of the city. What it doesn't include is any capital improvements or equipment purchases. So the balanced budget actually gives us a budget surplus of $29,822, including in there the capital projects of Stone Creek reconstruction, the new city hall, tennis court resurfacing, Poly Park drainage, Poly Park sunshade, Poly Park repaving, paver parking lot lights, playground equipment, that's replacement of aging playground equipment in some of our parks, the junction sign, 4th Street widening, Greasy Creek culvert, and the planned action area, Those projects total $3.075 million, with $1.575 million being grant funded. Equipment replacement fund would be drawn down by $149,000 with an estimated $10,000 revenue with surplus equipment. And then in the sewer fund, we have a few projects slated, and let me move over just so you can see what I'm talking about. I've also included the budget narrative just for presentation purposes. This is, if it gets approved, this is what we'll publish on the city's website. Sorry, I'm scrolling so fast. But here is the list of projects I was just referencing. In the sewer fund, we have maintenance projects, collections capital improvements, and the purchase of a pickup truck list, which is 25% of the purchase cost into the sewer fund. And then the purchase of a forklift, $450,000 with $20,000 in surplus. And then a small portion of that pickup truck would be also allocated to the sewer fund at $12,500. And we have a few other projects listed that were deferred to 2021. And with that is the presentation of the budget. What the staff is recommending tonight is that the City Council hold the final public hearing on the final 2020 budget and consider adoption of the budget through Ordinance 2019-27. Any questions?
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any discussion or thoughts before I open up the public hearing, Council? Okay, hearing none. At 7 o'clock, I will open it up for public hearing. If anybody would like to address the council regarding the 2020 center budget, please step up to the podium and give us your name and address. And if you could limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Sean Wright, 305 West 3rd Street. I'll reiterate my point that I support the budget, especially the line item for the planning for the Timmins Landing / downtown area. It is core to a town, and it's what makes a town often is the downtown, what brings people together, and it's imperative that we plan it and we plan it properly. Especially with developers starting to come in and look at developing Timmins Landing. It's such a small area. It's critical we get it right. And we have everything in place to get it right at that time. I would hope that existing conditions surveys are properly done so that we can get a good look at exactly what's there, and the code can actually reflect the specific conditions for our area, and that can be provided to the planning commission in a very timely manner, such that we could get it expedited in a way that that planning could be done such that development does not go in before the codes are in place that would make sure the development is as ideal as possible. But in general, I support the budget line item for that. I think it will be a great help to our town and help define the town and shape its future in a very big way.
Thank you for that.
Curtis Carlson's listener. In the future, if possible, I'd like to see, as a citizen, I'd like to see some hard copy available for us that are watching this. I realize that the year's 2020 and it's all available online, but and I know it's an expense to put it out on hard copy, but it makes it a lot easier to follow. Not all this. Not all of our computers and printers get along.
Very good.
It's just a suggestion. It's what I'd like to see. That's
Awesome.
all.
Very good. Thank you.
You bet.
Dennis Hill, 1316 West Alder Place. I want to just applaud the council and the budget committee and Dustin and his staff for putting this together and for thinking with regards to the Timmon Road and downtown line item. I also would endorse that. I believe that that's important for us as we look forward. We can get a step ahead before somebody comes in and starts trying to do something and then trying to have to back out of that or somehow delay it. If we can get a head start on that, I think the city would be really ahead of this. I also want to applaud and give thanks to the Citizens Committee on the budget too. They put a lot of hours in, and I appreciate what they've done. I know several of them, and I know that they put a lot of hours in, non-compensated, and but for a good reason. And I'm sure Dustin and his staff appreciate that as well. So, anyways, thank you again. And I would ask that you approve the budget as it's presented.
Thank you.
Al Fellow, 152 West 15th Street. Boy, I hear these people saying what a great idea it is to spend some money on the downtown and Timmon Landing, you know, and as most of you know, I'm just highly skeptical of pouring money down that rat hole. You know, I hope I'm wrong, but yeah, I just don't think it. I think we ought to spend more time and money out at the junction if we're going to spend money. I would like to see more development downtown, but I just can't convince myself of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no one else stepping up to the podium, I'll close public comment at 7:06. Turn it back to the council for further discussion or any questions or thoughts. I'd just like to take a moment to also thank the Budget Advisory Committee for all their hard work on the budget this year, again this year. We have one of the Budget Advisory Committee members here this evening, Mr. Jack Davis. The other two citizens that are on that committee are Steve Workman and Dee Dee Sutter. They both bring a lot of experience and background to the committee, and then two council members are on that as well, Councilmember Cerveny and Councilmember Williams. So we started having budget meetings, I think as far back as June this year, and I appreciate all their efforts and hard work. So with that, I will turn it over to the council for any questions or discussion they may have.
Real quick, Sean brought up something. Do we have developers interested in Timmons Road or Timmons Landing right now? Or we've got people coming in? We do. Thank you. So the budget, does it cover the cost of like Mr. Swanson and Janice, any of the contractors that we're bringing in?
So the budget does have line items for consultant services, and that includes human resources, community development, things like the city planner, and several other support. We have some engineering on-call contracts that incorporates in there, also the information technology contractor. Those are all included in the budget.
Dustin, real quick, could you tell me what that total is that we have budgeted off for consultants?
I do not have that number on hand. I can get that for you if you like.
Yeah, I'm just interested in what the total amount was budgeted for
I'm happy
consultants.
to provide that to you.
Any other questions, council, or
Comment,
comments?
I'm comfortable with the proposed budget for 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, I think starting out with a zero base this year. Dustin did a really good job on driving that, and the department heads dealing with it, and because it's a new way of going. But I think we beat the hell out of that horse, so to speak, and we're probably the best we're going to get without any additional revenue to offset some of the things we'd like to do.
Very good.
You know.
Yeah, I have to second that part of it, Randy. I was pretty impressed with the way the budget was done this year. Much better than last year.
Good.
It was
Very good.
Very well put together.
Thank you. Well,
Did we decide on that Holly Park paving piece? Were we going to designate that in case we can use it for other areas, or we putting that solely for Holly Park?
Well, it's in the budget now as presented at the last city council meeting, so right now it's in the budget. Yeah,
But they have to come before council anyways, right?
yeah. These are budget calculations. I mean, before any contracts are led or any work is actually done, those come back to the city council for approval. Like, and these are budget numbers. We don't really have, you know, like for the planned action area, we would have to issue an RFP, an RFQ, go through a long process to get people to bid on that work, and then that would all come back around to the council for approval. So we'll be looking at these projects several more times before we actually spend any of the money, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'm all right with it.
Okay. So if there's no other questions or comments, we can,
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance 2019-27, adopting the budget for the city of La Center for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2020, and a policy of fund balancing with regard to fund transfers.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance 2019-27, adopting the budget for the city of La Center for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2020, and a policy of fund balancing with regard to fund transfers. This is an ordinance, so could I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Boff,
Yes.
Councilmember Stimmel,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Strobehn,
Yes.
Councilmember Cerveny.
Yes.
The ordinance passes unanimously. Thank you, council, and thank you again, everyone, for all your hard work. Good job.
I note also, state law requires the council, the city clerk, to provide a copy of the budget, the final budget, to anyone who asks. So, ask and you shall receive.
Would that be a hard copy, Dan?
You know, this is a 1985.
You'll have to fax it over, Owen, with them fax.
The 6.5.
Handwritten.
Okay. Moving along. Next on the agenda is our second ordinance for this evening. Ordinance 2019-28, an ordinance amending the adopted budget for the City of La Center, Washington for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2019.
Thank
And
you,
Mr.
Mayor.
Dustin Bailey will be presenting.
Before I start, I do want to note that I will be mailing a hard copy to Mr. Carlson. 2020 budget, so you have one on hand. But this, in front of you is the final amendment to the 2019 budget, ordinance 2019-28. The City of La Center Council approved ordinance 2018-17 on November 28, 2018, adopting the budget for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2019. The City Council approved ordinance 2019-13, adopting Amendment 1, and this is, like I mentioned, this will be the last amendment for the year. There's several changes I wanted to note in the budget.
Could you go to the schedule?
Do you want to see the table?
I think the table, yeah. Or are you going to, so that council can follow along?
Is this what you'd like to see now?
Yeah, please.
So this budget amendment is to address certain expenditures incurred during the fiscal year that we couldn't reasonably predict or foresee at the adoption of the original budget or the Amendment 1. Some high-level revisions. It increases revenues for charges of goods and services, and specifically this is for plan reviews. It wasn't included in the calculation previously, so this represents the increase that we're seeing in the goods and services category. You have increases in expenditures in finance and community development, decreases in expenditures, public works, police, and legislative. Increases in revenues charged with goods and services, like I mentioned, were unanticipated and are tied to the spur and development across the city. And all other revenue sources are dependent on final payments for the month of December, but these are expected to be near projections by the end of the year. Increases in expenditures for finance are due largely to additional consultant support in the area of legal services, employee separation payouts, and absorption of utilities for the new City Hall building. Increases in expenditure for community development are in the area of professional services, and this is due to the McKay-Sposito review, which is a consultant service that the council approved in a separate item, giving the mayor appropriation authority. This just represents that change. And then also additional planning support connected to the development across the city. So you see a balance between that increase in revenue I presented and this increase in consultant services. Overall, the budget amendment reduces the city's budget deficit for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2019. Deficit in the adopted 2019 budget was $445,000 compared to Amendment 2 being $329,736. Staff is recommending the City Council approve Ordinance 2019-28, adopting Amendment 2 to the adopted budget for the City of the Center for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2019. Are there any questions?
On the, just housekeeping, on the first part in the background, third line, is that a typo error in the ordinance number?
Yes, it is. It should be 2019.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Get to be nitpicky.
I noticed it when I was presenting. So.
Any other questions before I open up the public hearing? Comments? Thank you. Okay, so at 7:16, I'll open it up for public comment. If anyone would like to address the council, please step up to the podium and if you give us your name and address and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Seeing no one stepping up to the podium, I'll close the public comment, turn it back over to council for further discussion. Questions?
Did we have an ending on the card rooms? Where they were at?
I will have a card room ending at the next council meeting for you.
It's nice to see that we're not
So, no questions?
as far into debt as we once thought we would be.
What's that?
It's nice to see that we're not as far into debt as we once thought we would be.
Yeah, no, there was an improvement on, from what was projected, even with some additional expenses that came up through the course of the year. We did manage to come in with less of a deficit than what we budgeted for. So, again, I think city staff is doing a great job on trying to control expenditures. But, again, because there is increased amount of development activity, we do have increased expenditures for our consultants and staff for handling that, but then again, our revenues go up as well because it's generating more revenue. So it's basically a pass-through, but that's one of the reasons some of the expenditures did go up as well.
Mayor, I move to approve Ordinance 2019-28, adopting Amendment 2 to adopted budget for the City of the Center for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2019, which will be effective upon passage.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt Ordinance 2019-28, adopting Amendment 2 to adopting budget of the City of the Center for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2019, which will be effective upon passage. Again, this is an ordinance, so if I get a roll call.
Councilmember Boff,
Yes.
Councilmember Stimmel,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Strobehn,
Here, yes.
Councilmember Cerveny.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Passes unanimously. Appreciate it. Thank you, staff. Okay, next on the agenda is the city council does have a executive session this evening. It'll be discussion according to RCW 42-30.140 to consult those authorized to negotiate labor contracts and to discuss labor contract negotiations. I'll ask everybody to please leave the chamber so the council can go into executive session. I anticipate this will take about, would 20 minutes be enough time, Janice?
Yeah, maximum.
20? Yeah, 20 minutes, and there will be action taken after the executive session. So when we come back into meeting, we will be taking action. Thank you for being here, everyone.
Is the bus out there, or did they take it? It's gone. Okay.
I wanted to get there.
Yes, I'll get it.
Yeah, I had no idea how they were going to format that.
Okay,
A couple on my phone.
all right. Council will come out of executive session at 7:40. We'll go back into general session. We do have we did discuss the labor contract for the civil group, and Janice, do you want to give a little quick report on that, or should we just go right to the motion? Dan, you want to go through that?
So the report that you heard is we have generally tentatively approved labor contract with the civil union. The issue that you need to basically ratify tonight is the proposed COLA in that contract, which would be, it's a 3-year contract, 2019, 20, and 21, and the COLA would be 2.5%, 2.5%, 2.5%. So we'd need a motion authorizing that.
Mayor, I move to propose a motion of a COLA of 2.5%
For each of 3 years for the
for
civil.
each of 3 years
contract.
for the civil contract.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve a 2.5% COLA increase for the civil unit for 3 years, 2019 through 2021. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much, council. Thank you again, Janice. With that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Again, our next meeting will be next Wednesday, 6:30.
Mayor,
Yes.
since we passed the budget tonight, I won't be here next Wednesday. As we discussed.
Really nothing on the agenda. It's 2 staff reports.
Are you going to have a meeting?
Yeah, oath of office.